Just a friendly reminder that the opinions expressed on this show are not worth a Canadian penny, so disregard anything you hear that might get anyone in trouble. And despite some of the great ideas you may hear, don't try them at home. Go to a friend's house instead.
It's time to get a gun. That's what I've been thinking. Well, I could afford one. And if I did just a little less drinking, time to put something between me and the sun. When the talking is over, it's time to get a gun.
Hello, welcome to Slamfire Radio. This is episode 617. Today is August 6th, 2025. I am one of your hosts, Kyle.
I'm another one of your hosts, Dustin.
And I am Cowtown Tony.
Cool. Might as well get into it with what we did with guns. So, Tony, what did you get up to?
Didn't go shoot nationals.
Didn't go shoot nationals. Big oof. You can see I'm very pistol-less, so I don't know. I may be able to throw semi-auto rocks at it.
Don't pretend like that was a problem. You had several friends setting up opportunities.
That's fair. They did up the borrowing timing for 2 weeks, though, so now you have to pre-arrange it, so to speak. I believe there's
you meet a person at the range and you're at the range and you use the pistol.
Yeah.
Whose pistol am I going to steal, though?
I'm sure you have at least half a dozen people down there that would loan you a pistol to compete with.
Yep.
In case their primary didn't go down. Just the whole thing.
It's a whole pile of excuses is what I'm hearing.
I know, but this is the thing. I am very comfortable borrowing a pistol in the States because I know the replacement cost is finite. It's a little bit of a different story here. Anyway, didn't go to nationals, but I did sign up for Battle Alberta, so you guys can stop. Well, I guess Adriel isn't here to pest me about it. The slight update on DLPC. Now I have the trigger in it. It did replace the safety for it's a different Strike Industry one. It's the more basic one, but it have a longer lever, so it does work a little bit better. When you have the trigger in, it won't go as much out of battery just because the trigger is kind of in the way. So in a hunting scenario, for example, you won't lose the round in the chamber. You're just going to have it out of battery, but you can push it forward and then fire off your shot.
I hate that
every
so
time
much.
you show that,
It's worse.
I would really want a recoil spring in there.
Yep.
I would really want a gas tube on here too.
Taking what you can have.
Oh, God.
Even though even keeping it as a straight pull, I would so wish that there was a recoil spring on there.
Yes.
You know where Tristan at SBI is at, so you can go yell at him for that. I didn't
I'm
design
not
the gun
yelling at anybody. I'm just saying what I would like to see on it.
You know Adriel's going to do that first, so if he do it, I might grudgingly do so.
It would be such an easy modification. Just mill out the back and stick a recoil, stick a buffer spring in there and call
This
it
thing is already giving me so much trouble. I had to
like that.
hammer the trigger pins in because the holes are a little small. So there's already all the materials are being removed.
Well, eliminates your need for anti-walking pins.
To be honest, I don't think Trigger Tech triggers really need anti-walking pins. They don't seem to be walking often, except on the PCC. Then
depends on
the whole thing.
The gun
falls apart. I've also put.
I say if you're running a cartridge style trigger, throw anti-walking pins in there.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I've also put. Finally, I don't know why I never did it, but I put the mounting cup on the back of the PR. I don't know how often Battle Alberta requires a sling rifle, but I'm ready for it. And surprisingly, actually works pretty well as hasty, which I thought it wouldn't, just because for Maple Seed, usually you will have your sling as a traditional hunting rifle, both on the bottom, and this is more of a modern style, one on your weak side in the front and one on your strong side in the back. but still works pretty good. It's pretty loose right now because I have the adjustable. I just not mess with it. But
Well, I'm really curious how running hasty and pumping
on a pump
that,
action, just doing dry fires, it's not too bad. You can reach, and
how cumbersome.
the PAR have a little hand stop in the front, so you can use your fingers to run the hand stop. So it's not too bad. But we'll see. I don't know. Is there going to be 400-yard standing shots? Maybe I need to.
400 yards, they probably give you a place to support. Chances are. But I mean, if you can hammer off a 400-yard shot standing right like nothing, then it puts you ahead.
Nah. And I also had to do some ammo check because the last time I shot a 223 was almost a year ago. No, that's a lie. I did shoot the PR in the winter and it blew up on me. So that's not the last time I shot 223, but the last time I shot high volume 223 at the last rifle match at BTSA, that was like October last year. So it's been a second. Hopefully, well, I don't have to hope because I have ready brass. So probably going to load up some more just in case for Battle of Alberta. And I'll be all set to compete next month. Yay. And
awesome.
And the crew has bullied me enough, so I'm going to shoot the 1911. People can not be angry about it now.
Well, you were also, so you're going to shoot the 1911. You're going to shoot your Nova Speed, right? You got
I think yes.
You got to shoot that.
I think yes, and I have to do some more range session with that gun just to see how the mounting and how the rib presentation is, and how it's hitting, how the pattern is. So a lot more shotgun work for me ahead of me.
Yeah.
What about Dustin?
Oh, so I've done a few things in guns again this week, which feels good. So I did some more testing on my 320 after the that Wyoming video came out. I just messing around in my shop. So similar methodology. Now I don't have a bone stock 320. I do have an aftermarket trigger that I put in, nice flat, speedy trigger that I like quite a bit more than the standard trigger. Don't ask me where it came from. I can't remember right now. But I did basically the same thing. So I used a screw, and the screw is really important. So I got the screw kind of wedged in just in the little like gap between the frame and the trigger, and then I had to like dial it in ever so gently to try and replicate the same thing. And I was able to replicate the same, dropping the or getting the striker to drop without actually fully pulling the trigger, with a caveat. It has to, like, the trigger has to be all the way back just before like the breaking point. Now I posted a video. I think I posted that video in our group chat. Somebody had used a CNC to kind of like find the and it looked like he was using the same trigger that I had. And it was a fraction. It was like a couple of millimeters that it had, like, that of travel it had left before the trigger would break totally. But in that right before the trigger breaks point, if you grab the slide and you rock it side by side, you can make the striker drop. But if you dial that screw, like if I back that screw back just another millimeter, nothing. And I tried everything else to get that striker to go in that, just dial back a little bit. Broke out the rubber mallet again. I whacked that gun so many times, like it definitely thought it owed me money. But in that extremely unique scenario of the trigger being pulled almost all the way back, right before breaking, like a millimeter from breaking, you can absolutely make even my 320 have an uncommanded discharge if you wiggle the slide. So there's a mechanical issue there, I guess. But at the same time, like for myself, like I still feel 100% safe with that gun. I went and shot it the next day. the reality, like for me, I mean, obviously, look, we're in Canada too. Like, is that gun ever going to get used in a self-defense situation? God, I hope not. Yeah, that's extremely unlikely. You know, the only time that gun's ever going to be loaded is probably going to be on a gun range, and with it pointed downrange and my finger off the trigger until I'm ready to shoot. So, like, is there like a theoretical opportunity for it to have an uncommanded discharge? It would have to be like a series of unfortunate events to have that be an issue. So, like, is it the best news? No, but I mean, obviously, like, this is a thing. And they're going to either have to completely re-engineer something. Like, something's going to have to happen. There's too many people that have been able to replicate this issue. But I don't think, at least for me, like, my gun, even in a self-defense situation, I don't think that I would be terribly concerned. Like, unless your finger is on the trigger and you're ready to pull the trigger, that gun's not going to go off. And then the basic rules of firearms, like, we all know acts improve, and you know, in the States, you know, the 4 rules. Kind of important that gun not be pointed at anything that you're not willing to destroy. You always assume the firearm's loaded, and you keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot. So, like, unless you've already broken like 3 of those rules, the gun's not dangerous. Would I appendix carry it? Well, appendix carry, yes. No, appendix carry, no. I would not have a 320 pointed at my junk. But I also, I don't know. I wouldn't carry that gun hot, maybe, but we're in Canada, so it's anecdotal. So yeah.
Well, here's my counter argument to that. There are 2 scenarios in Canada that may cause some issues. First is being the professional crowd. As we'll get to later in the news, what the Canadian government decides to do was the C-22, which is our P-320.
Yep.
The second one is a IPSC, not quite running start, but you have a loaded start, but your first array of targets is a low bale way. And you're running with a loading gun.
Yep. I'm still going to go shoot comp as long as my gun isn't banned from the competitions here that I like to shoot. I'm still going to shoot competitions with that gun. I 100% feel safe with that, unless my finger is on the trigger and it like, look, it has to be pulled back to the point where if I sneeze, the gun is also going to go off. Where, like, if somebody around me coughs, the gun may go off anyway. Like, the situation that has to happen for that gun to have an uncommanded discharge, it is not just the gun's loaded, like, and it can just go off if you shake the slide. Like, the trigger has to be like fully depressed, ready to drop. And I think that's probably why, at least in the interim, that the like Canadian forces haven't decided to like cancel using it either. Like, the scenario is pretty rare. I don't know. I don't know. I wasn't there. I don't know what happened with the airmen. I don't know what the deal was. Maybe there's more to the story than has been shared. I find often there is. All I know is that with my 320, again, like, would I have it pointed at my junk? No, but I don't know if I'll ever carry a gun appendix carry. Anyway, even stateside, it's not really my jam, but yeah, I don't really see an issue. I don't see an issue with the Canadian forces continuing to use it, assuming that every gun that they're using has the same issue mine does, where yes, you can have an uncommanded discharge if the trigger is fully depressed and ready to break. I mean, like, they're using probably the same logic I am. If you've got your finger on the trigger and it's pointed at something, great. That's, it shouldn't be pointed at anything you're not willing to destroy. Anybody else got thoughts on that?
Yeah, I do. Because, I mean, I don't think anybody's saying, oh, every 320 out there has issues. And I think it's great that you've gone through the testing. Well, yeah, obviously there's probably some people out there, but I think it's more of, are people asking, are they acceptable risk? And right. I think if somebody's gone through and done exactly what you've done, you've proven yours is safe.
Yep.
To comment on like the airmen's, I likely to believe the story. Now there's other questions that raise with that whole scenario.
Yep.
But as far as
Why is the
gun,
barrel pointing at you, right? That's a very
That's
there's
a big
other
one.
question. Yeah, there's other questions in that scenario aside from the gun itself going off.
Yes.
So yeah, the fact that I can understand you having full confidence in that because you've just gone through and did a ton of testing and did what it took, not just took it like, oh no, it doesn't go off. Okay, what do I need to do to make it discharge?
Yep.
So I think with that, yeah, you can gain some trust in your firearm again.
I think it's a responsibility. Don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. Like I'm not preaching that the 320 is fine.
Yeah.
I have
mean-
made the gun do the thing, right?
Well, it's just it's a firearm and that's unfortunately been plagued with
Bad PR.
bad.
issues.
Well,
bad track record.
well,
I'd say.
the way that SIG is handling it, I don't agree with. I
No,
don't
me
agree with
too.
how SIG is handling it. I think this could be a much smaller issue if they weren't dealing with it the way that they are dealing with.
Completely agree. I think for them to like blindly be like, there are no problems, nothing to see here, you're all
Yeah.
crazy. Like, I don't like being gaslit by my government. I don't like being gaslit by my gun companies, and especially a company who made a gun that I actually like, and a lot of people actually like the gun, and for a lot of reasons. And if they had taken the high road and been like, we are investigating this, we're taking this very seriously, like that would have gone so many miles more than saying there's no issues, nothing to see here. So so yeah, like your mileage may vary. I honestly don't know. I haven't seen any notifications from like anywhere that I like to shoot that's banning the 320, but I know a lot of leagues are, at least in the interim. And I did a whole bunch of due diligence with my gun to know, like at the point of that Wyoming video coming out, I wanted to know, what will it take to make this gun go off? I think that's a responsibility, of mine if I'm going to take that out and use it. And now I know, and maybe everybody needs to do that. Maybe SIG needs to pull their head out of their butt. But yeah, I don't know. But I also at the same time I can understand that somewhere down the line, perhaps somebody in the Canadian Forces has done that testing. Maybe they do know, and also like in the reality, like the Canadian Forces are not as cavalier with firearms as some of our American brethren are. They just aren't. I live with a couple of them, so I mean, like,
How do you mean?
I think it was like I question how the gun ended up pointed at the guy. That's
Yes.
that's
my big question. Like, okay, you pulled it off the holster. How? Now, was it a bystander that got shot, or he was putting his gun down and he got shot?
yeah. I don't know. I've
yeah.
It just
and
seems like such an awkward motion to like.
it does. Yeah.
Why would you do that?
But on the same token, it's not our job to break down that situation and that.
No.
I mean, wait for whatever study and investigation they're doing, because I don't want to sit here and speculate
Litigate.
on that, because I mean, yeah, it raises questions, but I'm not about to sit here and speculate on it.
Same. I just thought, anecdotally interesting, because I had mentioned last week that I'd done testing and couldn't make it do the thing. I managed to make it do the thing, and but I have determined that at least with my gun, unless it is loaded and I got my finger on the trigger, ready to fire, it's not going anywhere.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
yeah. Anyway, with that, my roommates and I, we went to the range again, a different range actually. So there's a couple indoor ranges in Vancouver. There's one that's in Coquitlam, relatively close to where I live, that we went last week. And then this most recent weekend, we actually went to another indoor range in Langley called The Range in Langley. Shout out to them. It's a nice facility. It's actually nicer than the other one that we went to. They were super chill there. They had a couple of handguns that a couple of the roommates wanted to shoot that I don't own. There's like a 500 Smith & Wesson there and a couple of other things. So we were like, yeah, well, let's just go do another indoor day, whatever. Traffic was really, really horrible. It was going to take an hour and a half to get to my personal range. And they were like, it's only 30 minutes if we go here. And then they have some guns that we can shoot that you don't own. But nonetheless, brought a whole bunch of handguns out. Brought my MP7 at home out again. The thing is a laser beam. I really need to paint it. I'm almost done with my paint experiments. I'm just about ready. They had a whole bunch of Osama bin Laden targets that we shot the heck out of.
This is really funny.
Oh, it was great. And somebody had seen one of the. Or, no, it was you actually. We were like, "That's allowed." I was like, "Yeah, they were pretty chill about it. They sold them there."
Those would gotta be like leftovers from a decade ago.
Yeah, I mean, I guess they're non-contentious now, but anyway, it was. Yeah, we shot a whole bunch of Osama bin Laden. I did shoot my 320 at the range, and not even one person got killed, so that was, not shocking at all. However, I did watch an ND happen in the bay next to me. So this is this is the one downside to shooting at a public range versus a private range. Is like, and it was a Saturday. No, it was a Sunday. So it was a Sunday in the middle of a long weekend. So they were pretty busy with just normies who've never shot guns before, little groups of people. And this girl was being supervised by by someone from the range. This girl and her friend, they were there part of a group, and they were being supervised in the bay next to me. And watching her shoot a handgun with her eyes closed was kind of funny because there's like a piece of 2-inch Lexan between the bays. I think most of the bays are armored, but there's windows as well. Anyway, so I watched her just blasting with her eyes closed, and I reached around the corner and just you keep your eyes open, you'll do better, because she's just painting her target.
It's like a flashbang. It's like a flashbang. You just you toss it and you close your eyes. So same idea, right?
Yeah.
Just valuing the.
And the range officer is supervising her. I don't know, you can give her tons of tips on that, just leaning forward, shooting with your eyes open. But he's also just trying to make sure that she's being relatively safe with that gun and doesn't get pointed at someone. Anyway, out comes the only semi-auto PCC still in existence. They have some homesteaders on the wall, and so he brings that out, and she points it down range and pulls the trigger. Click, nothing happens. And he's like, oh no, you got to take the safety off. And he goes, and the gun's kind of pointed down a bit, and he goes and he clicks the safety off for her, and immediately her finger's on the trigger. And it was I don't know, the guy that was supervising her, he's a little young, and I don't know, it just somewhere along the line, just maybe take your finger off the trigger before we do this could have been a thing. But yeah, immediately as soon as he clicks the safety, bang. And I watched it, nobody else saw it, but it definitely shot the ground and ricocheted up. I was like, oh, well, that was an ND.
Did they have to close the range for that, or
no,
I'm guessing he looked around and yep, no, we're good, keep going.
pretty much.
Generally speaking, my style is I prefer to take the gun back. I have possession of the gun, show you how to take the safety off, put the safety back on. Now you go ahead. I think that's a better learning experience, and it's generally, I feel better if there isn't two hands on the gun, unless there's a big emergency, then I have to take control of the gun. But that's just me.
Yeah, I mean, I generally operate in more or less the same fashion. And again, we had, I was shooting with two of my roommates and one of their friends who doesn't have his gun license. And I was supervising him a whole bunch. It is kind of, I will say, it's kind of challenging to have even two people in the bay at the same time, right? So having someone, it's easy enough to be kind of off to one side right behind them while they're shooting. But it is kind of challenging to have two people in a bay. So I get the awkwardness, and it's a long gun too. So there's just that added kind of pain in the assery of she's holding a loaded gun right now and it hasn't gone off. I understand the logic behind, I'm just going to click the safety off for you, but making sure her hand wasn't on.
Well, I have two things with that. Mm-hmm. For one, I don't necessarily need to take possession of it and show them.
Yeah,
it's click, nothing. Safety. Oh, well, where's that? Well, that's right here. And I don't like operating any control of that gun while it's in someone else's hands. Or if it's going to come down to it, okay, it's pretty easy to see if someone's finger is in on the trigger. So, okay, let's pull that finger off the trigger. I do get it that he sees how many hundreds, thousands of people go through there, but on the same token, these are kind of basics, and if you're going to operate a control that's going to make it be able to shoot, there's a couple steps that should really be taken.
I agree. Definitely wasn't the ideal situation, and again, like, you know, I'm not going to judge. It's kind of setting, and also person. She probably could have used some more time and attention even before they got on the range. If I'm being honest, like, she was very clearly uncomfortable. I think like it was her friend that had kind of brought her along. So, or like it more seemed like her friend was the one that really wanted to do it. So, like that, when there's that level of discomfort, handling that person with kid gloves is always important. But then being aware, like, we're in an indoor range and it's stinking loud. Like, you can't really hear anything very well, especially like with like rental earmuffs. Like, you know, we've got the electronic ones. I can hear you talk, but like, I don't know if she could. But yeah, even just pointing at the safety, like, you got to click that thing off and take your finger off the trigger. But anyway, it happened. Life moved on. You know, the range didn't have to shut down or anything. Like, the ND happened downrange. It just, they shot into the floor.
Indoor ranges, you don't want to roof or the floor. Not great. Side to side, not great.
Listen, in an indoor range, best thing you could do is not look straight up.
Yep.
Yeah, good call.
It's true. But yeah, we had a ton of fun. Ripped through just a bunch of 9mm. I've got to roll some more. I am lower than I'd like to be on that particular caliber, and I finally managed to have some failures with my 1911. Mostly
now I'm regretting my choice of my competition fire.
Tony, I haven't cleaned it since 2014 or since 2024. Like, it's been a solid year at least since I've cleaned that gun. It's been out to the range probably a half dozen times. I was a little bit, I was just curious how dirty I could make that gun before it needed to be cleaned. And it's probably seen a couple thousand rounds. So, but I started to have some stoppages and it needed a little bit of lube. And, yeah. And then when I got home.
What kind? Belt to return to battery?
Sorry. Yeah, no, it had a couple of different, had a failure to extract, like a couple of failures to feed. It was doing some finicky stuff. It was really weird. The slide was kind of getting locked up halfway. It was just dirty. The second I cleaned it, life's good. It's I cycled some dummies through it. Everything, all the little fiddly issues I was having with it went away when all of the grime from a couple thousand rounds of 45 got cleaned out.
Oh wow, you have a 45 too.
Oh yeah. I've got something.
You need to show me your 1911 collection.
I only
maybe
have
one day.
No, it's just the one.
Oh, what?
I got rid of all the others. I wouldn't have if I had known. I mean, there's a lot of handguns I wouldn't have sold if I knew I couldn't buy any more handguns.
Is it a Nork or something else?
Yeah, it's Dominion Arms. Yeah, it's Chinese. My $300 drunken Friday night purchase. Anyway, yeah, so I cleaned a whole bunch of guns that night. It was so cathartic just sitting in the shop with a podcast on. I was happy. I spent like 4 hours. I did a deep clean on like all of the handguns that went out and a couple of others. It was really good. Yeah, and that's all I did. Well, what about you, Kyle?
Well, as you can see, I'm not testing out the Starlink this week because, well, work got in the way. I was planning on doing remote work, but there was some stuff that needed my physical attendance at. So yeah, the plan is sometime tomorrow, as soon as I can get away, head up to Raton, and it will be my first time working a match that I don't shoot.
Ooh.
So
which one is it?
This is Rocky Mountain 3-gun.
And you are not shooting Rocky Mountain?
No, so I mean, I was slated to work it, so I'm not going to sit there and say, well, no, I still want to shoot. So no, even though I told you I'm going to help you, I'm not going to help you. I prefer to shoot. It's, my work got in the way, so that's on me. And so, yeah, I'm still going to go up in RO and help out like I said I was going to. So it sucks. it's going to be interesting. It's going to suck. It's going to suck because it's my first time doing that and not shooting. So yeah. Other than that, what else did I do? I used that gift card. I had a $150 gift card for Kilborough Sports, and I noticed they had some interesting ammo on there, so I ordered it, and we actually have it in the new gun stuff. Some Minor 9 PCC competition ammo.
Ooh.
So it's expensive for 9mm. It's about 50 cents a round.
Ooh.
But I got 115 grain guaranteed to be around 130 power factor, which is a lot better than like my normal 124s that I shoot with my pistol. Out of my PCC, they run like 160, 165 power factor. So
You still don't have your loading press yet.
no, I don't. Which there's another thing here where that's going to have to happen at some point. But so I ordered 300 rounds of that. Ended up costing $15 of shipping. So I'll test that ammo out, and so I'm going to start focusing on PCC again and try and see if I can get mine tuned up where I'm happy and it just works, because there's sectionals in September, and I want to shoot PCC. I shot PCC at it last year. I'd like to get my ammo dialed in, so a nice light, softer ammo, and just get that thing cycling good, because there's been some changes to that PCC since last year that I think will definitely help me improve my running. So I'm going to be focusing on PCC here. I did change out spring, because I have that spring buffer kit there. So looking at it, it says it comes with a 5-pound spring for that Shield roller delay buffer. So I've just put a 7-pound spring in there, and you can definitely notice the difference in the bolt going forward. So hopefully I'll get it to the range and it will chamber no problem, and I don't have to go up to a heavier pound spring than that. Other than that, I was looking through a bunch of major ammo that I got given with the open gun I bought.
Ooh.
And concerned, as if you look,
Oh,
all of the different height differences.
yeah.
That's not the styrofoam.
Really?
That's C2. That's a lot of C2 lanes, though. Jesus.
Like
What the heck?
that is a major.
That's
The brass doesn't even look like the same length. What is going on?
Well, brass is the same length. Yeah, brass is the same length.
What the heck?
But they they are two different projectiles, but it's still like the overall length. And so I'm gonna have to talk to him and see what's going on, because I do not like that, especially with a major gun.
Yeah.
Minor, you got a little bit of room for give, but major, you're already pushing beyond Sammy. You're pushing the envelope for major. So I'm concerned about that. And one where, I definitely I got to buy from reputable, which is going to be even more expensive than the 50 cents a round that I'm going to be paying for the PCC ammo.
Yeah.
Or I get a press and I load my own.
I mean, there's that option too.
It's just more money I got to spend. It's just, So
Did you not? You didn't bring your press down when you moved?
No, I didn't. I sold, other than a few dies and stuff, I sold all my reloading stuff when I moved down.
That's fair.
I didn't have room for it in the apartment. I didn't have a garage here at the time. And even then, right now with 100 degrees, I wouldn't want to be going and sitting out in my garage reloading, because there is nothing in there. No AC, no air movement, nothing. It's not even attached. So,
you could mount it where your vice is right now.
If I've had my press there, just the reloading area would probably take up half that bench.
That's fair.
Like if I had a 650 on that, it would pretty much, it would take up pretty much, like just so you could comfortably reload, it would take up half that bench.
Ooh, yep. You're not wrong. I mean, like I've got a 550 set up and some other Lee stuff. I've got like an L desk for it. So if you're limited on space,
yeah. But
I can tell you, Tony, have done some very scrappy stuff. Not ideal, but worse.
oh, Tony.
Yeah. So I know I gotta get into it. So he said he's going to be selling some presses here at some point soon. So see what he wants for a price. If not, I'll talk to my buddy at Dylan, and he already said he'll get me a deal. So when it is time, I will get back into reloading. And who knows, maybe I'll even start reloading 223 at that point. But it's still one that for mass production, I don't know. I don't know if I want to get into doing 1,000 round runs of necked cartridges.
Yeah.
Because I don't do small batches. I do a minimum of 1,000 when I reload, and usually I'll sit down and do a couple hours or something and get a few thousand in.
That's fair.
I don't see a huge difference, necked or not.
Well, necked, there's a lot more case prep.
Right, but
and if your die is not set up just perfect, you're rolling your edge, and now you're wasting time wrecking cases because your dies aren't set up just perfect. Sitting here watching and hearing Buddy up in North Dakota, he's reloading 300 blackout, and the stuff that he's having to deal with 300 blackout brass and the 223 he was loading, and never mind past friends. Like, I mean, if you got your system dialed in, Tony, awesome. But I know, like, when I go up to it, I want to just be able to crank because it's for high volume. So
that's fair. For me, for rifle, it's always going to be a 2-pass process.
Yeah.
Like when I'm loading, it's ready brass, entire set, off we go kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I kind of do breast prep. Like when I have some scrap time, I go to the bench, I do some sizing. It's like, okay, here's my ready pile. Here's the pile that's getting washed. Here's da. So there's always going to be, which is a space constraint because you have brass in different stages of preparedness.
Yeah. And
it does become kind of a warehouse management problem.
Yeah. Oh, and if I were to do that, it'd be a minimum 2-step process on the press itself. It'd be case prep and then loading for sure. Yep. Absolutely. Hands down. Because I'd have the case trimmer on there and everything. So that basically I go load it up, and by the time it comes out, okay, that's prepped, and then come another day and then load. But I don't know. We'll see. I gotta get a press first before I think about that. I got 9mm dies and whatnot, so it wouldn't take me much to, well, it takes me the press, but the whole thing, but yeah. So at some point, because I'm gonna want to shoot major ammo, and I think I only have like 300 rounds of major ammo here, so
got to solve that problem.
Yeah, if I'm gonna be shooting much open, I got to bump those numbers up, as it were. But other than that, I gotta hit the road tomorrow, hopefully up to Raton, go RO that match, and should have ammo next week, so hopefully I'll get a chance to go to the range before our local match next weekend and test that PCC out and see if I can't get that working a little bit better. But yeah, so that is that is the end of it for me. So we'll get into upcoming events. Did anyone happen to pull up the Maple Seed stuff?
I did not.
One moment, please. I see them here. I believe there is going to be an event.
Okay.
Blind Man Valley, which is near Red Deer, I believe, Alberta, and Cornwall Handgun Club, Ontario. That will be on the 9th. On the 16th, Frontenac, yes, Rifle and Pistol Club, Kingston, Ontario. 23rd, 24th August, doubleheader at Sherwood Park, Edmonton. And for HGG firearm training, let me take a look.
Oh, he can get sponsorship for days he's on.
Yeah. Hey, yeah. Ontario Rifle Association events calendar. Go check that out at ontarioRifleAssociation.ca. That's out in Ontario, usually at Borden. For three-gun matches, go to threegun.ca. We got a Chaz three-gun match this weekend, and that's on Press Score. Chaz Battle of Alberta registration is up. That is September 6th and 7th. And then on August 30th, Sherwood Park is going to do a match. We got
And
Steel
I don't
Challenge
know
Nationals.
I don't know how I missed that previously. The official registration is technically closed, but they can fit you in if you're still interested. Steel Challenge Nationals is happening at BTSA this year as well.
That is this weekend, August 9th and 10th. So
that's correct. You only have to attend for a half day for per gun. I think 3 gun maximum. Yeah.
Okay. Richard is on here for ORA, Ontario Rifle Association, 600-yard and 900-yard practice this weekend. ORA members shoot for free, guests for $45, he believes. So if that is not the case, go bug Richard. No.
That's cool.
Saturday at CFB Borden. Starting at 8 a.m. Register at ORA. So their website there. So thank you, Richard. All right, that's that for upcoming events for right now. Oh, this weekend too, if you're up in the Peace region, Mighty Peace Three Gun at Peace River is going to be holding a single day match on Saturday. So I know they needed a couple slugs for that one. So if you're up in the area and want to shoot, you can go there as well. The news. All right. So first article, we kind of touched on a little bit. The Canadian military has come out and said that in light of the stuff happening with the airmen down here, they have decided not to restrict use of their 320s, their C-22 and C-24s at this time. So, yeah, so there's that one. I don't have opinion on that either way. I mean, their weapons tax goes through them and insures them for service. Cool. All right. Awesome.
Yep.
I wonder if they still have enough high power to float around if they decided to do that. Wasn't one like a long time ago the news says they're gonna like melt them and stuff?
Oh.
I mean, I don't know.
Like instead of sending it to the civilian market or sending it even down south to the US market.
Yeah, no, they won't. They won't sell guns.
Yeah.
They'll send them elsewhere before they.
Oh, I'm guessing they probably don't have them anymore because they didn't even send them to Ukraine.
Oh, I'm sure they're sitting somewhere. I'm sure that they would have loved an opportunity to stand in front of a picture of 16,000 handguns getting destroyed if they had had an opportunity. They're in a box somewhere.
I want to say that a lot of them were probably already destroyed and they were running out of parts to fix them. So.
Oh, dude, hearing stories about those things.
Yeah. All right, next one. What's the next one here? Did you read this, Tony? You want to go through this one?
I think Dustin did.
I did, yeah.
Okay.
So Lucas Lofton, 16 years old, is making Canadian shooting history. So we've got a 16-year-old here trained by his grandfather, another former champion, Glyn Lofton, who's a former national champion. This kid's setting records. I guess he is just a real lethal with a rifle. He's been shooting since he was 13, and I think that's when he set a national record for prone position shooting. And so he's doing Ontario indoor 3-position shooting. Oh, he set a record for Ontario 3-position shooting in August 24. Where is he? Where's he headed now?
We gotta reach out to him and get him on the show.
It would be cool to talk to him. Yeah.
I mean, really, I think we hardly talked about 3-position shooting.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, we gotta reach out to him and get him on the show.
I'm gonna make a note right now because that would actually be cool.
Yeah, it looks like he is heading to the Olympics in 2028. So that's when he's gonna be.
You have to be
19. Barely.
I thought you had to be 16 to compete in the Olympics.
Well, he is 16 right now, so he would be 19 by then. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's setting records. Like, this is cool to, someone who's like
absolutely
16 now, but at 13 and 15 set 2 records. That's pretty awesome. I don't have any records.
Yeah. Oh, well, way to go, Lucas. Keep it up.
Yeah, man, that's awesome.
Well, another article here, and it's like CTV News, actually highlighted something good in firearms. They had an article and everything on the nationals that were happening in Tabor. So
Yeah, well, Alberta sponsored a stage.
yeah, the Alberta government sponsored a stage. Phenomenal, like that.
And I believe Global News will have an article on it too. Some friends down there told me they were there. It's interesting. I don't recall previous nationals having such a media coverage. So
I think when Alberta is sponsoring it too, and no, I think it's great. I haven't read the articles, but a couple I did, because I think the local Tabor had posted some government or news had put something out about it saying, hey, if you hear this, guess what? The best shooters in the country are going to be here shooting. So don't worry.
Yeah, I think it's just great to see like even a little bit of positive coverage. Obviously, we'll never see that from the CBC, but cheers to the CTV. That it wasn't a bad article. There was no negative. These people shooting their demon guns. So I appreciate that.
Yeah, that's awesome. All right, well, let's get on to new gun stuff. And I put one of these in. Let's see. We got. Test this out here.
You're going to stream?
I will see what I can do about sharing. See if my previous stuff that I did fixed the issue. So, Federal, they're doing a rebate, it looks like.
Oh, I love Federal rebates.
Quite a few options, mostly for hunting stuff. The Power Shock, I believe, have to buy a minimum box of 2, and it'll be 20% off rebate for you. I found it really funny that the defense ammo rebate is only available to the US, which is appropriate, but I just found it a little funny. It's like they made the little detailed distinction. But yeah,
maximum, receive 20% of purchase price.
They've learned with their maximum rebate.
Yeah, maximum rebate of $60 per person or household.
There was, I don't know if you remember, Kyle, it was several years ago. Federal had a rebate, and I don't think there was a maximum on it. It was like, and I ripped like the tops off of just dozens of boxes of like 223 Federal. Oh, like I think I got a case for almost nothing. It was great.
Yeah. 2 seconds. I'll open these other two, since that seemed to actually work out.
Yeah. Kyle's got his porn on a different computer, so we're fine.
No, I know it was actually a very simple fix, and I don't know why we all missed it. But
what did you do?
I updated my BIOS.
Oh, that's good.
That seems like such a thing that's irrelevant, I guess.
Because it was bugging me, and I actually looked into it, and yeah, it was a thing. I updated my BIOS, and it solved it.
This is heartbreaking.
Yeah. So
I should steal IPSC with this.
Some antique revolvers.
Yeah.
$2,800. So yeah, we got a French 1873 11 mil. Yeah. 2,800.
That Smith & Wesson and 44 Russian, there's a reason that's worth that much money. That gun is useful.
Like, yeah, that's so
44 Russian's reloadable.
Where is this? Northern Elite Firearms. Okay. So yeah, they have some British Bulldog 450 CF.
Dude,
3,800 Webley.
All right, can we talk for a second about how that Webley number 2 is certainly under the 4-inch barrel length that a firearm
antique.
But I know, because it is an antique, not only is it completely legal, you can take that out into the bush and shoot it. But God help you if you have a 4-inch normal handgun.
Or
a 32 rimfire.
Yeah, this H&R
Good luck reloading that.
32 rimfire for $1,600.
Yeah.
So, yeah, they got a bunch of antique revolvers for sale in some very cool calibers.
And for our listeners, I'm sure everybody knows, but for those of you that don't, if your revolver is classified as an antique, you it is legally transferable. It is, purchasable, sellable, and most importantly, not held to the same standards as all restricted firearms. You can take it out into the bush and shoot it if you can reload ammo for it.
There's also another little thing to it. So yeah, then they actually have it here. Antique revolvers made before 1898.
Right.
No PAL required.
Man. Well, that's a loophole, eh?
Yep.
Well,
I mean, you can't.
we're gonna get ammo for it.
That 44 Russian you can.
No PAL, you
can't
cannot.
possess ammo without a PAL.
I thought you just can't buy ammo without a PAL. Or did they? Oh wait, no, they did change that.
They changed it, but
Yeah.
regardless, I don't think as a PAL holder you're supposed to sell to people that don't have PALs.
I mean, no, you're not supposed to sell ammunition, but you can give ammunition.
But all the rest
You
of
could.
that still applies. These are not considered firearms by our firearms writings, so they are wide open, as it were.
Yeah, Ian Runkle did a good video on antique revolvers a year or two ago. Like, there's still some stipulations, obviously, if you buy one of these things. If you got an extra $3,000 kicking around and you buy one, like, there's still some rules to abide by. But yeah,
you can't. I bet you can't go walk around town with the loaded.
No,
concealed
yeah, I wouldn't recommend that.
I wouldn't
but
try it.
No, but that Smith and Wesson double action, man, I don't have $3,500 to just throw away on something, but that's the best deal.
And for the listeners who are not into reloading or ammunition, I would agree with what Dustin is saying. 44 Russian is similar to 44 Special, which became the 44 Magnum. So there's still a steady enough supply of brass, powder, dyes for you to reload 44 Russian. That's why that one is that caliber, for at least for the Canadian context, because 45 Colt is specifically outlawed for this antique status. 44 Russian is kind of the premier caliber in that category.
Yeah, it's definitely the most sought after.
Cool. All right, our next one is Ely. Ely is making some competition ammo. So they have some Minor 9 for pistol, and 115 grain, 124, and 147. Then they got for the PCC 115, 124, because with the different barrel length, you need a different load to get that 130 power factor.
I like this.
So yeah, they're selling that. Apparently, it is going through. Richard say maybe Tony should use one of those antiques for IPSC.
I would dominate the national for revolver because no one was shooting that. Yes, in fact.
So yeah, they got the Minor 9. As well, they actually have 38 Super Comp Major as well.
That's kind of crazy. How many people are shooting 38 Super Comp?
It's a lot easier on your gun than 9mm if you're shooting 38.
Right, that I understand.
So there are still people. Actually, I think Matt Porth runs 38 Super Comp. I think. Okay. I could be absolutely wrong, but I thought he did. I know there's still people around that do it. But so yeah, that's for Ely. It was looking like basically they're saying more information go to Kilo Shooting Sports. They're in Texas there, but I mean Ely's making it, so I'm sure a distributor or something could get it into Canada if you're looking for it for sure.
Oh, absolutely.
I don't know if they say, are they made in the Great Britain or no?
In the Great Britain, I don't know.
In the United Kingdom?
Yeah, it doesn't say. I will look at the box when I get my stuff in and see.
Yeah, I'll be curious to hear your review of it.
Yeah. Because, yeah, like they tested it with
Was it
Shadow
JP?
1, Shadow 2, Glock 34, PPQ, MMP Core 4.2 inch, Tangfo stock, and then they did JP rifle is 14.5 inch, and I believe they did a CMMG with a 16-inch barrel as well, if I do recall. So, let's see here.
Official USPSA, really? Huh.
Yeah, and so like they got it on there. Yeah, CMMG Resolute 100 with 16.1 inch barrel. So it's been tested with a 16-inch barrel for PCCs. So yeah, it's something cool.
Yeah, that is really cool.
That is it for new gun stuff this week. So why don't we get on to our main topic, which is going to be flying / traveling with guns. So
I'm so excited.
Dustin, you wanted to do this one.
I
You're
did.
going to be traveling in a couple weeks, so why don't you kick it off?
Okay, well, I mean, I am by no means an expert on flying with guns. This is actually going to be my first time flying internationally with firearms. So there's like a little bit of stress. I've traveled internationally with guns before. I've gotten my ATF, documents for traveling with guns, just taking them down to the States, but I've always driven. So this is going to be like a bit of a new adventure. Actually, stand by for 1 second. I'm just going to grab my paperwork. It's just behind me.
Okay.
What would life be? Oh,
I like how you're prepared for the podcast.
I'm actually I'm not. I'm just like I'm kind of in like soft prep for this. Like so, I'm all of for the listeners that can't see, but all of my many sheets of paper. I'm trying to be as extra prepared as possible. Obviously, I knew this trip was coming up several months ago. Like I don't remember how many months ago did I file for my ATF document. Like it was back in March or April. And that's obviously the really big thing. If you're going to travel internationally with firearms from Canada to the United States, there is an NIA Form 6 that you can fill out and send into the ATF. And provided that all of the information is accurate and you can lawfully possess a firearm, and you put in your PAL information and all of that, and all of the guns and or ammunition that you're hoping to travel with, they will send you back an approved document that looks like mine, that I'm not going to show on the on the internet. Sorry.
I guess we'll start off with that. So that's a Form 6 NIA through the ATF that you need to fill out. Trying to recall, does it ask you? Yes, it asks for you for your firearms license number, correct?
Yes, yeah, they ask
because there's a few things that it used to ask for that isn't required anymore. So they used to ask for a match registration or a hunting license, but that's not a requirement, even though I would still do it.
So here's the thing. It isn't a requirement for a Canadian traveling with firearms. So
we should specify also that is a Canadian not traveling on a visa.
Correct.
If you are traveling on a visa, you are prohibited from possessing firearms or ammunition unless you have a exception, which is the match registration, or real easy is a hunting license.
Yes, I was going to say those fields still exist within the documents, and man, I read the rules. I paid more attention to this than I did my taxes this year. I'm not even going to lie. Like going back and forth, making sure that everything was 100%. And I actually do have a varmint license that I renew every year down in Washington. So I did actually put that in there, but it isn't necessary. You're not required to have a hunting license, but it's simple. It was an extra thing, but it wasn't a requirement. So for me as a non-resident alien coming into America, I require this document, and because I have my PAL and I'm a Canadian and I'm not traveling on a visa, there were certain fields that weren't required for me. And actually, because you can fill it out via PDF, which is actually what I did. So there's certain fields that'll like black themselves out. So like if yes here, then these things just gray out, which is kind of nifty. So yeah, that is the most important thing. And if you know that you're going to be traveling, thank you, Richard. That Richard Lee has been kind enough to post the link to the document in question. It's important. So yeah, that's going to be the most important thing, obviously. And I would say apply for it much before you need it. The ATF was actually really good. They got back to me really fast the first time, but the second time, I don't know if they were on holidays or what the deal was, but the second
The
response.
ATF has been kicking it into high gear. That being said, like usually within a couple weeks I had mine, but they do say at least, what was it, 5 weeks or something.
Yeah, and me being me, I prepared months in advance because I knew I wanted this. So yeah, that's going to be the most important document, but not the only document. Now, it is my intention to travel with some handguns as well as some shotguns, because I'm hoping to, come shoot and have some fun down in the States. So obviously, because we're traveling with handguns, I also had to apply for my ATT. And because it was an international ATT, they actually asked me which guns I'm taking and put those guns specifically on my ATT to and from the airport, which was, I just don't remember doing that before. But I think because my old ATT had every port of entry, I think I never had to deal with that before.
I remember when I was doing shooting out of province, so you need to get an ATT out of province, they would ask that, and I was like, well, put them all on. I don't know what I'm going to be shooting that day. I might decide to travel and shoot something else. So I end up getting everything put on, but yeah.
Yeah, and even when I was talking to the person at the CFO office, like I was like, yeah, it's going to be my Glocks, and they're like, you're going to have to be more specific. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess I will, won't I?
Yes, so, I'm taking all my Glocks out of the country. Yes.
So obviously I also applied for my ATT. I did that a few weeks ago as well. I know that's more or less unnecessary. Usually they turn these things around real quick, but I knew when my travel dates were. I knew what guns I wanted to take, and I didn't feel like messing around with like, oh no, they need to send me this piece of paperwork. So,
well, I think right off the bat, and you're a good example of it. If you know you're taking a trip, don't leave it for the last minute. Just do your research for where you're going to be going, because you're going to be getting into it. But like as far as what states you're going to,
yep.
If it's not the U.S. and any of the world shooters will, those guys ask about that, because what country you're going to and what you need to do with your firearms to bring them into that country. Now, so it research as far and ahead of time as possible and stay up to date, because who knows, laws change all the time.
Yes. And I will get into that as well. We're just in the paperwork stage of my whole run up for this. So obviously I've also made copies of the relevant registration certificates. I've never gotten shit for just traveling with copies. So, and finally, I actually made myself a nifty little, I'm just going to cover up my serial number here, but I made myself a nifty little document because I'm going to travel with a couple of shotguns. So I took some pictures, identifying features and identifying photos of the serial numbers in question. And then all of the same information, model, type, caliber, all of that is on my ATF document is also on this document, because my logic was that I'm going to be flying out of YVR, so my guns are going to be checked long before I actually get to CBP. So I wanted to have just a piece of paper for each of my guns that was, this is the gun that is on the document, this is what I'm traveling with. Like, because my ATF Form 6, I actually have more than the 4 guns I'm taking on it, because I have intentions to go visit my friends in the States. So rather than try to I'm this one and this one. And again, I've never had a CBP officer care while I was driving across. But I just, in the interest of being just extra cautious, this is everything that they could conceivably need to know about the firearms that I'm declaring. Right. So that's all of the paperwork I've put together, and that's why it was sitting back there, because I'm starting to do soft prep.
Well, you brought up a good point because you don't need to. It's not with the Form 6. It's not you have to bring everything that's on that list.
No,
the Form 6 NIA is good for a year, so it is actually recommended. Throw anything that you might want to take to the U.S. over the next year.
Yep,
and put it on there, because you absolutely do not need to have everything on that list. Put all your ammo on there. You're allowed, I think, 20,000 rounds of ammo total. Yep. So make sure you have ammo on there and everything. Just that way you don't have to deal with it again for a year.
And that was exactly the logic. Like I think I have listed like 500 or 1,000 rounds of some of my most common calibers. Am I traveling with that? Certainly not.
Not this time.
Not this time. And I've got smaller amounts of smaller ammunitions as well. But just the logic was get everything approved, and then I can decide what I want to bring out of that bigger list. So and then yeah, that way when I go and declare my firearms, if the CBP officer is more than tangentially interested in what I am declaring, I can show pictures of exactly what I'm bringing. And then obviously I've also got digital copies of all of these on my phone. It's 2025. There's no good reason to not have a PDF with all of this digitally as well. But I have found in the past that like customs officers like it when you hand them a binder that has all of the paperwork. It just, I have prepared all of this paperwork for you, sir or ma'am, and they tend to appreciate that. And I don't know, it seems to make things go a little bit more smooth. Also, like, so taking this and then going into like the research side of things, because I've never flown with firearms, watching some videos of people who've flown with firearms and listening to their recommendations, also very useful. I was joking before the show that Tony sent me a video from someone who has traveled a lot with firearms. And it was like a 30-minute long video that probably could have been a 2-minute long video, but I watched the 30-minute video to parse out every little bit of useful information, because it's useful information, right? And yeah, I don't know. I think the more research and the more prepared you can be, the better. So that part, I'm just doing research is kind of, again, if you know your trips coming up well in advance. The next thing that I have also done, obviously I have checked both of my airline carriers. So I'm flying direct to my point of entry, and I'm flying direct home. But there's an RV trip in between. So I'm not going to give people details, but I'm flying into Vegas, and then I'm driving across country with some friends in an RV for a couple of weeks. We're hoping to go do some cool stuff along the way. And I will talk more about that trip once it's done. But because I'm flying into one international airport, I'm flying out of another one. We're doing direct flights mostly so that I don't lose my guns on the way there. I just can't imagine that headache. And also it was to simplify not having to worry about potentially changing carriers as well. So because sometimes if the carriers will have like a deal with WestJet or Air Canada where you say you bought a ticket with United, but you're actually getting on a WestJet flight or you know what I mean? I've encountered stuff like that sometimes. So just to eliminate some of those variables, I figured direct flights were the simplest. Oh yes, Richard Lee, I got a box of them back there, man. You're way ahead of me. So Richard Lee, clearly you've done this a couple times. Maybe you should come on the show. I travel with AirTags in all of my bags. That's like rule number one, but I actually just bought a whole new box of them because I'm going to be flying with my partner. So I've got AirTags for all of his bags and for my gun bag now. So in this day and age, I don't know why anyone would fly at all without AirTags in all of their checked bags. It's so convenient. And when they do lose a bag, walking up to just bypassing the carousel, when you open up your phone and you're like, oh, well, my bag didn't make it, and you just go immediately to the lost baggage thing, and they're like, oh, your flight hasn't even started checking the bags yet. I'm like, yeah, or bringing in the bags yet. I'm like, yeah, I know, but my bags are still sitting on the tarmac where I was. And they're like, oh, well, let's start processing that paperwork for you then. So yes, AirTags are important. I think that's just a common sense travel hack. But on the theme of research, checking what the airline policy is for firearms, right? So I've checked both the airline that I'm flying with into the States and what the air policy is flying out of the States. And then I've gone a step further to do a little bit of research if there are any procedures or anything I could expect with the airports that I'm flying into and out of, right? So just knowing where I know I'm flying out of YVR. I know where the guns are going because I've seen other people flying with guns internationally, and I've made friends that way where I'm like, that's a gun case. I'm going to talk to that guy once I'm through security. And I've made friends that way. So I at least know where the guns are going, but knowing what that looks like for the airport flying home, a little bit of research, and I found that out as well. And then being sure that everything is going to be, it's kind of a no-brainer. How we transport firearms in Canada is kind of most airlines' gold standard: trigger locked case. Locks in all of the locking posts of your case is also seems to be a consistent thing that I have gleaned from.
Yeah, it's gonna be locked so that you can't pry it open, and they've tried. So,
yep.
I know I'm probably jumping to a different part, like for the U.S. when I'm flying with my pistol. Say, I brought my lock. It doesn't have to be trigger locked, but ammo outside of that case. I know you're going to touch on the ammo in a bit, but then they'll actually check to make sure that they can't get into the case even with it locked.
Yes. Yeah. So, and like, so you actually touched on a point. Different airlines have different rules about flying where the ammo has to be in relation to the firearm. So, for instance, for my flight to Vegas, ammo can be in the case with the guns, but it has to be in the factory box, which is really, really important. No loose ammunition. It seems as though loaded magazines not in the guns are okay. That's not going to be my reality. For me, any ammunition that I travel with is going to be traveling in the factory box because that's how it's been recommended, and all of the airlines seem to be happy with that. And I'm actually going to put the ammunition in one of my other cases so that it is just extra separate from the gun, and I don't have any concerns or questions about that. That one's just a peace of mind thing. It doesn't seem to be essential, but
here's two observations I have about that. One observation, one question. It seems that most airlines, even in Canada, accepts magazine loaded as even some would say recommended way of storing ammo.
Yeah, they just don't want them rolling around loose.
Right, yes. But here's my question. Winchester white box bolt pack ammo, 150 rounds, 223 in a box rolling around. Is that factory enough? That's a question.
It's how it comes from the factory. So.
That's a question. Personally, I don't travel that much. I'm not in the States. Second, I don't travel that much by air with firearms. That's something I'm unwilling to try. So I would be having either like the Plano ammo boxes. Do I have one around?
Actually, those aren't recommended.
Or those, what's the box?
Right. Yeah.
So I've done the Meg thing. Like, not this last time. The time I went up to North Dakota before, I decided I'm gonna try it. Pulled the Meg out of my gun, threw it in a different pocket in my bag, locked up my gun, and did it that way. And yeah, it was totally cool.
If I were flying domestic, like if I were just flying within the States, I would have no problem doing that. But because I'm flying internationally, and because like the ammunition on my paperwork, I would like to match the ammunition in the boxes. So this is the other reason why it's going to be the factory boxes, and I'm not going to have any ammo loaded in any magazines. I want there to be no questions where this ammunition came from and that it has been approved by the ATF.
Well, and being that you're flying from Canada, that changes that, because you walk into an airport down here.
Oh, yes.
And you say, I am flying with guns. Oh, okay, cool. Let's check it out. Here's your paperwork. Cool. Done. You're flying with guns in Canada. You practically get the police called on you just to make sure that everything is all copacetic and okay. Like it turns into a big deal. So, I mean, with that alone, in Canada, no. Yeah, while it's allowed, I probably wouldn't do the loaded mag thing. In the States or on a U.S. airline, because I do have a story about U.S. airline in Canada. I'd have zero issues doing that.
Yeah, I'm flying a Canadian airline into the States. I'm actually flying an American one back, but I'm not going to play stupid games. It's easy enough for me to transport unloaded magazines and load them when I get there. I don't actually have a whole lot of use for them while we're in Vegas. It's not until like after Vegas that they're really kind of useful. We actually, because we're kind of staying at a bougie hotel. We've already been in touch with the security from that hotel to find out their procedure for storing our firearms on the premises. Security has lockers for exactly this, which is fun and interesting. And so I've actually already confirmed what their procedure is for that as well. Kyle's smiling at me, kind of. Look, I'm just trying to be respectful of all of the places that I'm going.
Enough. You got some long guns, so that makes it.
So that's the thing, is because if I would feel differently and probably conduct myself differently if I were flying with a pistol case with a couple of pistols in it. I'm going to be flying with some long guns. So and I'm not leaving them. We're going to have a vehicle while we're there, but I'm not leaving them in the car. So
okay, but you said they have lockers for them. So they have a locker there that you have control of. You put it in the locker, like they basically sit there. Do they have access to that, or you only have access to that locker?
I don't have confirmation if they also have access to it. I mean, presumably they would too. I don't know. I just know that we're not allowed to store long guns in the room. So I am going to.
Yeah, they're pretty touchy, and I mean, you can.
I understand why.
A person could understand why. Yeah.
Yes.
I leave it at that.
Yeah, and again, like, we're going to Vegas for the fun of it. It is not the place that I'm actually going to do a whole lot of gun stuff. Like, we're gonna go shoot machine guns. Yeah. I'm not traveling with machine guns. We're gonna go shoot other people's machine guns. So, and yeah, so doing that research was very important. Obviously, knowing everywhere that I'm going to be, what the rules are, and like I said, like getting in touch with our hotel security ahead of time, finding out what their procedure is. Maybe I'm going over and above. I feel like I'm being as responsible as possible, especially, again, bearing in mind heightened tensions. Let's say I'm a visitor in that country, and I love that country quite a bit. I don't want to jeopardize future visits, so I'm trying to stay well within the defined boundaries of the law. So folks can judge me if they want, but I think that it's just like Canada, right? Like, the whole, like, okay, what is the rule of the law? Going one step above when you're storing and transporting your guns, makes sure you're on the right side of it. Do I need this extra document that has photos of my firearms and their serial numbers? Probably not, but it's appreciated. Always has been in the past, right? Yeah. And my interaction, or my thoughts are, any interaction that I do have with any kind of law enforcement or authority, they will appreciate the extra steps that I have taken. And then going a step further into like the research. So I know that I'm going to be traveling in several different states. So I have gone through the trouble of doing a lot, because I've gone down to the county level of like, what are the rules for firearms in some of these places that we're going to. Thankfully, most of the states that we're going to be in are quite firearms friendly. It's just like varying levels of friendly, but one of the states, like, slightly less so. So just knowing what the magazine capacity restrictions are becomes a thing where, like, yes, I'm traveling with 10 round mags, so it doesn't matter. But, there's we're going to be in Colorado. They have 15 round magazine capacity limit. And they've got a defined magazine capacity limit for tube fed shotguns. So I'm like, I should know what that is before I bring firearms into that state. Not that I'm expecting an encounter with law enforcement, but knowing those rules ensures that I have a wonderful time and I don't have problems. And then, like I said, like, or for instance, like, knowing that, like, the area around Denver does not allow open carry. Like, that's a useful thing to know, because Colorado is mostly an open carry state. Not that I'm intending to do a lot of open carrying while I'm in the States. I'm not looking to send up all kinds of red flags and have those kind of interactions, but still knowing what those rules are, I think is it's better to know. And then I've actually got a couple of different apps on my phone that are wonderful and that have a lot of the information. And one of the apps actually has hyperlinks for all of the relevant legislation. which is also really useful. So going through the trouble of doing all that, I've actually been building a PDF for each state as well, so I can have a paper document because I'm obsessive. Yeah. Do you want to fill in some of the blanks there, Kyle, or talk a little bit more on it? You've done more flying with firearms than I have.
Yeah, so flying with firearms, like if you're on a U.S. airline, and like even if you're in Canada, you're going to be at the check-in counter, and they're going to ask you to open it up. U.S., not a big deal. Okay, do it. Canada, well, kind of big deal. So stuff like that be paid attention to. I guess they got the guys. Well, didn't get the guys. They did that to the guys coming down to Superstition, and that it's like, no, you can't do that. But I mean, yeah. So, like you said, check with your airline. Always declare you're gonna have to put a piece of paper in there or whatever. Sometimes they're gonna take you to a back room or off to the side so you can open and show them the stuff. So just be prepared for that. Give yourself extra time to go through that process.
Yeah.
Give yourself lots of time at the airport to go through that process, because especially in Canada, guaranteed you're going to get someone who doesn't know that process. And so you may have to fight to get a supervisor or someone who actually knows what it is to go there and help with that.
My logic for my flights, especially... Well, I'm probably going to do this both ways. I'm probably going to stick chamber flags in all of them too, just like mag out chamber flag, because I know that at some point somebody's going to ask for that case to be opened and to look inside, right? And easiest way to show that a gun is clear, for there not to be a mag in it and for there to be a chamber flag in it, that's a visual that gun is clear, right?
Yep. I've had it, so that brings up a good thing with you will be required to open it. So, and even in the States, you got to be careful, because you could very easily go from you're showing them for inspection to brandishing.
Yes.
So when I open that case, and what I recommend is you open that case, your hands do not touch that gun. That case is open. Your hands very clear back and away. Do not make a motion to it or anything. I don't do the chamber flag. I've also had them just kind of look at the gun. Oh yeah, there's no mag in that, so yeah, it's empty. I'm like, you didn't check the chamber, but whatever. Like it's like commonplace in the States. Like no big deal. But be prepared, and is it you're in a public place. Make sure that you're copacetic and you don't give them a reason to get excited.
Thankfully, this is the one area where I think all of just my experience handling and being around firearms around laymen, like, on set and stuff, I am a little bit more situationally aware. I think I'm not going to pick up a gun in the airport. That's not going to happen. Thing out. Yeah. That's not going to be my reality for this trip.
Well, and with you having to open it for inspection, like say it's a pistol and that little hard case is in your luggage, put it on top so it's real easy. You'll open your suitcase and hey, look, it's right there ready for inspection. You don't have to go rummaging around and digging for it. Yeah.
My intention right now is to have my long gun case for both of my shotguns, and then I'm going to put the two pistols in a pistol case in one of my luggage. So, and then obviously having it sit right on top, that's just common sense, right?
Was it 11 pounds of ammo? So you don't think you're flying down with thousands of rounds of ammo, your defensive ammo, any special loads that you might need, like slugs or buckshot or something like that. No, you're not bringing your match ammo down on the plane.
No, I'm gonna be buying ammo when we get there. Like we're gonna travel with a little bit, but I'm going to enjoy the ability to purchase ammo without a PAL. So that'll be fun.
You probably still have your PAL on you. It's
always
the same thing.
Well, I mean, I need it. I can't not have it because I still have to. I'm legally required to have it just to travel with those guns to the airport. So, big brain, got to have the PAL.
Or to get them back into the country.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, like I think I've got all of my bases more or less covered, more than covered probably. I don't know. What do you guys think?
So I have a few things to add. First, the AirTag thing. Richard is mentioning some alternative for Android users. They don't work as well, and
Hey.
I am a Android user.
The
Of
Galaxy
course,
Tab.
I have a work iPhone. And another thing is, it's not going to be as magical as some people describe it, as in you can see the AirTag moving around in the back end of the airport. I don't see that for my trip that I use the AirTag. There's basically, it'll show up when you put it inside and it says it was with you. And it appears that, I don't know if it's the airport ground workers that's using iPhones, or I believe it's actually that the reception is good enough for the group of iPhone on the plane to detect it in the cargo hold. So that's basically your two checkpoints. It's either going to show up on your plane or not. Another thing I want to showcase is the actual firearm declaration I did coming back from Thunder Bay, just because I'm flying with firearm parts.
Yeah, but so do we really need to confuse that because somebody didn't know the rules? Like there's no declaration for parts. There's declarations for firearms. And that, so like last week we touched on the parts side of things a bit, but
here's the thing though, CATSA requires you to declare firearm parts as well.
Yes, but it's not a firearms declaration. That is part of your declaration that, yeah, I got fruits and vegetables with me. I spent this much on T-shirts.
The firearms declaration is the firearm.
That's the declaration. It's not a firearms declaration. Like, even though they made you do a firearms declaration, it's not a firearms declaration. It's a declaration of, yeah, this is what I spent when I was down in this country, and this is what I'm bringing back.
I'm just going to say there is a likelihood. Also, CATSA asked me to do this, not WestJet asked me to do this. So there may be a chance you're filling this thing if you're carrying only parts, just to confirm you're not carrying ammo. It's kind of dumb. I get it, but the process is the process, and this is the process I ran into. They did not attach a travel tag to my baggage. I don't know why they said yes, but that did happen. Generally speaking, they're going to have 3 copies. One of the copies the airline is going to take away. Then you have the white copy, which is the one you're supposed to have, and a red copy, which, and I re-quoted this with my friend who was traveling with, the gate agent, not the gate agent, sorry, the check-in agent says need to be placed on top of your baggage before it went into the conveyor. And then I showed, it was on top of my luggage. I showed it to the TSA agent. No, not in their luggage. They said on top of it. I showed both of them, the white one and the red one, to the TSA agent. And they asked me to take both back. So you can tell in Canada, this process is a little bit more confusing. In the States, as have, I sent the video to Dustin from 3-Gun AMAX. I'll link that in Discord as well. I like AMAX story time. Dustin didn't seem to appreciate it, which I understand. But in the States, you have a declaration that you put inside the case and then you shut the case. I don't know if that's the standard procedure for Canada and they just messed up, or what's the deal? It is
the standard procedure.
But
when I flew to nationals with my shotgun, I went off to the side, opened it up, and it was a full sheet of paper that got put into my case with my shotgun, and that was within Canada. That wasn't cross border.
Yeah, so it was a weird anomaly.
On the same token, it wasn't this sheet, but you weren't flying with firearms either. So
that's true. But again, they're not. I'm doing what I was told.
Absolutely. I'm not saying you should have stood there and picked a fight, say no, I'm right, and that. I'm not saying that whatsoever.
I was almost treated like a criminal, and there's the later story with that I was treated as a criminal. But
here's the question: did you try to get through without declaring that?
Yes.
So there's there's the thing. It's the same thing as if you come back with alcohol and cigarettes you don't declare. Guess what?
Yeah.
You're gonna be on a watch list for 7 years.
I did say that I have firearm parts. They said, "Is it a firearm?" I said no. So they said, "Okay."
Yeah.
And then TSA had to bounce me back to do this whole thing again, declaring a firearm that doesn't exist.
Well, conveniently, I am going to be declaring firearms
And ammunition.
and
Yes.
ammunition, and I have documents.
Yeah.
So I think I'm at least on the right end of the law there.
Right. But just in case they mess up, which in this case they did, board the plane, sat down. They came up to me saying, "Are you Mr. Tony?" I was like, "Yes." "Do you have the sheet of paper?" I was like, "Probably. You need to give me a second. Find the red sheet of paper. Give the sheet of paper to them." I was checking on my phone. The thing is already there. The luggage is in the plane. I was like, okay, so I have my bag open. I'm sitting there. It's like, "Are you going to tell me something about it?" "Nope." They closed the door. We flew off.
Oh, wow.
It's just like, so in Canada, be prepared. Again, leave yourself plenty of time. So generally speaking, for me, flying domestic, no checked baggages, like the recommended time of 2 hours before departure is like quite a bit more than what you need. For this,
No
I'll
checked
say,
for no checked luggage within the country.
yeah.
Like a domestic.
2
That's
hours?
an hour. That's an
Yeah.
hour.
I know it's the recommended is 2 hours. So I'll
No.
say for firearms, maybe even give yourself a little bit more than that still.
Well, I would give yourself 2 hours if you're flying domestically with a firearm.
Yeah, I fully intend to be there 3 hours at least. Both myself and my partner.
International, yeah.
Yeah, like we're both pretty. We would rather have more time than less. Like I'd rather be chill and not stressed.
Well, yeah. Now, so basically, what we're saying is, no matter if you're Tony who won't drive for 4 hours, but he'll go to an airport for 2 hours before a domestic flight, or if you're me and you will go, like if you've pre-checked and all you have to do is check your bag, you're like an hour to 45 minutes before your flight. If you're flying with firearms, go an hour before you would normally go for that flight.
Yeah.
Give yourself an hour for dealing with the firearms.
Yeah, and that's my intention. I mean, thankfully, I think the place where I will probably experience the most friction, or I anticipate the most friction, is my declaration on the Canada side. Like when I fly into Vegas, I think that the headache is actually going to be getting on that plane, because I'm going to be dealing with Canadian checked bags. It's going to be like a Canadian flight, so it's going to be them that is going to be the problem, right? Less experience. I'm not worried about being in America and flying home, and because I'm flying out of Vancouver, I actually will be in America before I leave, which is nice because you can do the pre-check thing, right? So I can go through CBP before I get on the plane. So that's why, like, I'm not super.
That is nice.
It's so nice. It really does take a lot of stress off. I don't think I need to be there 3 hours early. I really don't, but I'm going to be.
International, like what, 2 hours, they say?
They say that. I have, man.
But the thing is, there are airports that will give, like, they're like Williston. If you have it, like, if you don't pre-check in and you're checking in at the teller, and you're not an hour before the departure, and it's a small little regional airport. Like, it's not like Chicago or Denver or anything. It's a small little regional airport. They will just, nope, you're not going because we don't have the time to get your bag like 300 yards to the plane right there.
That is funny.
I have never been less than 2 hours early for an international flight. Like I would rather sit in a terminal and not stress. That's what Nintendo invented the Switch for. And I never not travel with that thing too. So and honestly, like,
came in handy last weekend. I sat on a plane in Scottsbluff for a few hours while they sorted stuff out in Denver.
Yeah, I mean, how? What were you playing? Just out of curiosity.
Golf.
Okay, Mario Golf.
No, No, like EA, like 2K21.
Okay. Well, Mario Golf's more fun, just saying, but less realistic, whatever. I would
So I
not
see
use
Richard's
TSA
comment.
locks.
That's a good one.
Standard locks, yeah.
I use the password lock so you don't forget keys. That's generally what I do.
Yeah. So
For the US, it's flying is a little bit different. Well,
the
you have to have locks on every single hole. They don't have to be good locks on
Well, not in
single
every hole. You cannot be able to pry that case open. That's literally how they say it. It doesn't say you have
Really?
to fill every hole. When they go to check it, they should not be able to get their hand in there to grab what's in there.
yes. And thanks again, Richard. I
guess to actually clarify, because we didn't actually say what he said. So Richard saying, I would not use TSA locks on the cases. Use standard locks, put spares in your bag. Let them call you back to the desk if they want to check or make them cut off. I've seen them cut off the TSA locks too. So yeah, put a quality lock on there.
I thankfully have a whole, like this, again, blame it on the day job. I have tons of heavy duty combo like coded locks, and that is 100% my intention. That's what's going on all of the cases in every single hole, because I don't want to mess around with keys. I've already confirmed TSA locks are not required for these cases. It says so on both of the airlines' flight policies. They just say the cases need to be locked, cannot be able to get into them. They do not need to be TSA locks, so they won't be. For sure, they will not be. But yeah, that's an excellent point. And yeah, I've got some pretty beefy locks that I'll be using for, especially for the long gun case, and then some decently beefy locks for my pistol case. That's going to be my other piece of checked luggage.
Here's what it comes down to is take your time, prepare. It's not as big of a deal, even as we make it sound right now. It's not that big of a deal. Your import paperwork, or if you're flying domestically, okay, cool. Throw it in a hard case. That's one thing we didn't mention. It's got to be a hard case.
Yes.
Basically, it can't be broken into. Like, you can't just take a knife and cut your way into it or whatever. It's got to be a hard case, locked. Canadian storage transportation laws, of course. Same thing in the U.S. Wherever you are in the U.S., your storage/transportation laws got to be followed. But it's nothing special. You're transporting it, and so yeah, just take your time, do your research, make sure you're prepared. Don't try, if you can, don't do things at the last minute, and yeah, research where you're going and the airline that you're going on, because some airlines, and check the forums too, because there's federal and like FFA or FAA laws and everything, but then just be prepared to have someone that doesn't know what they're talking about, especially in Canada. Have the patience, and heck, have it pulled up on your phone or something. Get a supervisor there, but just patience. It's just like anytime flying. You get excited with anybody at the airport, it's not going to go your way.
No, I think, and again, this is where I'm the right person for this, because I'm pretty chill in that world. And because I have some expertise and some gravitas and an IMDb page that says I have an expertise in this, I can be a little bit more chill. And if you like, from not just that video, but a couple of other folks that I've just seen talk about flying with guns, like if you, especially in the Canadian context, if you approach it as the authority, yeah, I have everything that you need right here. We're going to do this thing. That will put that other person at ease, rather than, do you know what I need to do here? Like, don't ask that question. Don't ever ask that question. We don't want to discover what we don't want to learn together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think we pretty much covered it. Just want to reiterate, it's not as big and scary as even we make it sound. It's abundance of caution. That's all.
Yeah. I'm just excited. It's going to be a new experience for me. Like I get to check off another box, which is kind of fun. And yeah, I know that some of this is probably overkill. I know that I'm being overly prepared, but I have never in my life regretted being over prepared. Not once. But I have on occasion regretted being underprepared. So
Richard is sharing a link in the chat about firearms insurance. $80 for 1 year coverage, up to 25 grand.
ooh, you should send that to me. That was the next thing on my list, was getting some insurance while I'm on that trip.
So there you go. Firearms insurance as well. That's a good
Sweet.
one.
Thanks, Richard. That's new.
All right. Why don't we move on to listener feedback? And we do have an email here, and it just happens to be from Richard.
Hey.
So, Tony, actually, no. Get Dustin to read this one.
Oh, all right.
It's to Tony, so I can't make him read a letter to him.
That's fair. That's fair. I'll read it. Tony, like yourself, I'm reviewing export restrictions on firearm parts from the USA. In 2020, it appears that a large number of items moved from the Department of State under ITAR to the Department of Commerce under EAR. I just came across this and thought it may be of interest to you, as it seems to sum it up nicely. I've already used Easy Export and it worked well, so trust the information source. And he's included a couple of links here to blog easyexport.net and what's this other one? Austin
Sheridan, USA.
Okay. And it looks like less than
so Richard, you're on here. You mind if we throw those links in the chat? I imagine he's not going to mind. They're not his personal links.
Yeah. It looks like sub $500 USD to a maximum of $6,000 per year, and not on the restricted list are the main requirements: complete firearms, shotgun parts, parts for fully automatic or suppressors. Don't know if you're already if you'd already come across this or not, Richard.
Thank you, Richard. Yes, I have seen both of these links in my research. I prefer to go to the source, which is Department of, I think some are still on Department of State, but basically the U.S. government documents. I did have that all printed allegedly for my trip down into the States and back. We are planning, at least I am planning, on doing a main topic on this. Yes, a lot of the things has been, basically they've been downgraded to not as a part of the, what they call it, military equipments. Basically the list for military equipments. Full autos, more than 50 BMG, so autocannons, nuclear materials also on the ITAR list now.
Yeah, you gotta watch, because like night vision, even optics with reticles.
A lot of optics, really.
Optics with reticles are same kind of boat.
So that's more of the tricky part. Again, reloading tools, for example, most of them, if you're ordering from Brownells, it gives you a clear indication what they are. And we'll be doing a main topic on that. I'll have all the links prepared for it. But generally speaking, from a legacy perspective, we keep speaking ITAR export. That's kind of not correct anymore, but there are still restrictions. From the email. The general things are correct, less than $500, but you still have to either self-declare or ask the manufacturer or ask the vendor to declare what restriction class they are under. Generally, they start with 0A501, I believe, and there's a subcategory for which country you're going, there's a subcategory for what category the parts are a part of, and depends on the country of destination. They have different restrictions on the $500. Some parts are not subjected to that $500 as well. So that'll be a main topic on that.
Cool. All right. Tony, do you have YouTube up, or?
I do, and we have quite a few comments for this week, despite our video going live a little late. First are from Eddie. Dustin, my experience with U.S. CBP officers has been mixed. Some are chill, others give me a drawn-out interview at the booth, and others are downright rude. When I used to cross the border with a Form 6 NIA, I noticed the younger officers freak out more than the older ones, accumulating in a trip inside and a search of my vehicle. Eddie, I think that's kind of port dependent too. I recall.
Oh, it's definitely port dependent. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've had CBP pull me over going on my way back into Canada and have had them search my vehicle. Like, it's not to say that
like on the way in.
See, in
Into
middle of
Canada?
nowhere,
Interesting.
Alberta. No.
yeah. but Peace Arch Crossing in Vancouver,
Yeah.
yes.
Oh, and they absolutely could. Like, they're not just because it hasn't happened.
No.
I mean, like you can drive through there and you can see them sitting up on a hill watching. Like,
Yep. Yeah.
That is funny because Dustin mentioned that before my trip into the States, saying there's going to be a no man's land. It doesn't really happen in Grand Portage. Like there's an interesting duty-free handoff area where the duty-free shop is like about a mile down the road. They have to drive your stuff there, hand it off to you before you go onto the bridge of no return.
Right.
And after you cross the bridge, you're in Canada. So that was interesting. I remember like a long time ago, 7 years ago, when I was in Montana, and they had a duty-free store that's on the side of a highway turnoff, and they didn't have to deliver it to the border. We almost made the wrong turn, so they're like chasing after us, telling us where to go, which is a little funny
how
too.
to get there?
Yeah, how to like not go back into the States.
It's a joke, Tony.
I know. And Eddie's second comment, Tony, to mitigate your fear of staking your finger on the trigger while quickly cycling a lever rifle, do like Chuck Connors did in The Rifleman and put a threaded bolt in front of the section of the loop. What?
Yeah.
I have no idea. I'm sorry.
He's so basically, if you screw a bolt, you can put you can drill a hole and put a bolt through the front section of the loop such that it presses the trigger when you've closed the loop. You never have to use your trigger. It's a cowboy thing. So you just cycle the lever and it pulls the trigger just by nature of it closing. Yes, I've seen that done. Yeah.
So it's like the slam firing equivalent.
Well, it's not slam firing. You're just
slam firing.
You're putting a piece on there to push the trigger, so you don't have to have your finger in there.
I guess. Sure. Yeah, no. A solution for the loss of your qualifying Maple Sea rifle, use a loaner rifle. That loaner rifle that I had on my first Maple Sea scarred me. Like for 3 years straight, I didn't touch a 1022. The trigger was
read the next sentence.
No, any shoe boss was really nice tricked out 1022s. And
Maybe.
I don't know if his is designed for that application. Maybe your 450 Bushmaster would be also cool, but a little more recoil and a manual action rifle. It would be probably less recoil than my 223, and that was a manual gun too. As for running 45 ACP through it, it should line up. 45 ACP and 308 head are within a few cells. Yes, reloading gear would use the same shell holder or shell plate. Yes. I've used the same shell plate to reload both. Yep. And 308 case is cut down and thinned out near the mouth to create the 4508 Wildcat cartridge. Interesting. There's not really a good reason to do that. I'm planning to buy Starline brass for 450 Bushmaster regardless. So, and I don't have 45 case. I don't own a 45. So
Yet.
Yet. Let's go with that. Yet. 10 years later. Insert the.
All right, come on.
Eddie, come on. I can't believe you guys haven't heard of the 6 GT. I have. And it's really asinine that we don't recall it because I believe it was mentioned in the PRS World Shoot video. One of the competitors was running a 6 GT or a 6 PR. But at least I know of the round. I think it was semi-approved recently too. It debuted about 4 years ago as a cartridge designed for PRS. It addressed the feeding issue with the 6PR slash dasher cartridge by reducing the shoulder angle and lengthening the case and neck. As for barrel life, it should be good as the case capacity is between 6BR and 6mm Creedmoor. Here's my side. I believe 6mm Creedmoor was quite a barrel eater back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
And
then
then we
Creedmoor is, well, it still is.
Yep.
It'd be 1500
I just don't.
rounds.
I don't see a lot of people running 6 Creedmoor anymore.
Yeah, I would see competition, like PRS and that.
Yeah, maybe.
Those are like, they are barrel eaters.
Yeah, and we have 2 comments from M40A5. The first one is, quote, "It's a 3-inch lawn jackass," quote.
It's not. It doesn't say it's a 3-inch.
Oh, it's
It's 3 inches long.
is he talking about a barrel or something?
I don't know. I'm guessing it's something to do with your airport story last week.
Yeah, I'm sure the airport security is used to hearing that. But the barrel requirement's more than 4, right? Now I'm confused. Anyway, yeah, I have something to do with my crazy airport story. Go listen to episode 616, where I'm basically treated as a criminal. Maybe this is a side thing for the Canadian side of the transport thing. Like, don't be afraid to give up your PAL. Like, I know the whole "I'm not giving you my ID" thing was like it's a criminal defense card at that point. It's like I'm in legal possession of this. Please don't. Yeah, and the second comment from M40A5 is, "I found the same about broader crossing borders, going to the U.S. What brings you to the U.S., picking up, dropping off older 2 children for and from parenting time, insert enough questions for them to finish swiping passports, have a nice trip, return to Canada, same questions and answer them. Why were you down there? Why did their mother move there? Why aren't they living in Canada?" Lots of questions. For bleep's sake, I'm not explaining all that BS unless you're paying for my attorney. I'm Canadian. Leave me the F alone. Also, you can tell the individual ports of entry in the U.S. and Canada all give us is a generic number to call. Oh, interesting. I did not know that. One officer on the Sweetgrass side told me once they had a matter to deal with and managed to find a number to the Sweetgrass side, the response he got was, "How did you manage to get the number?" Click. Interesting. I seriously don't understand how we have a reputation as a polite country.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
Got me.
Elbows up. Yeah, that's the polite part, right? That's I guess.
That's
yeah.
another word we're not supposed to say on live.
Elbows up? Really?
No. What? Yeah, never mind.
Yes.
Oh.
Don't say it live. It's fine. Shall we? Moving right along.
Yes.
Moving right along. That's all our YouTube comments. I think I've already screwed up enough.
Yeah.
All right. We don't have any other comments. There's some stuff happening on Discord as always, getting quite the community going on there. Sponsor links. So we have sponsor links on our website for both Cabela's and Brownell. So if you're gonna go shop online at either of those stores, and I bet you that link for Cabela's is the original one. It's not the new Bass Pro one yet. So just the Cabela's.ca, or does it? Yeah, they're on the website. If you're gonna go shop online, go click those links and help the show out. Thanks to our supporters on Patreon and Player. You can go support us on those platforms as well. Thank you to all our Patreonies. I know we had one new one there last week that we announced.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And if you would like to send an email to the show, you can send it to slamfireradio@gmail.com. Jump into shoutouts and recommendations.
I want to shout out the Alberta government for sponsoring a match, and wow, super cool.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, that is. I'll do the same shout out as well. Thank you to Governor Alberta for fighting for our not rights maybe, but privileges, so to speak.
They should
And
be rights.
It should be rights. Firearm rights are human rights, right? As the CCFR would quote. Also a big sponsor for the Nationals. I will give a shout out also to my friend in Thunder Bay, Mr. Shi. Thank you for picking up the stuff. He got his car key back, which is the funniest thing because I have my secondary key. I reminded them saying, remind me that as soon as we arrive at the duty-free store, ask me to take the key off, and everyone on the car forgot. So I was like looking down as I'm trying to put it into the security basket to go through check-ins, like, shoot. But the Thunder Bay Police Force was kind enough to confiscate the bare bolt carrier, have not the bolt carrier alone. It doesn't have anything on it except the gas key, and take the key as well. So that was really nice of them.
Cool. Well, I'm not gonna shout out the government because I think you have to be careful on how much you praise the government. But yeah, good job, Alberta government. But I will shout out all the winners of nationals. I know Taylor got another title under his belt. So did Mel. Tim Lamb took an open national championship. I know he's been an up and comer, and he got his national championship there. And just everyone else who showed up, I think there was like 400 shooters at that match. So, it's really too bad we didn't have someone from the show there to do some coverage.
Yeah, who would be living closest to that particular
I don't
match?
know.
I have no idea.
It's a shooting show. You have a national championship out your back door. You're invited to come cover it and shoot it. I don't know. Anyways, shout out to all the competitors, especially those who won, and all the staff that worked that, because match of that size, it doesn't go without all the help. And I know Ken worked really hard on putting that on, and everyone did with just making sure it went good. I wasn't there, obviously, but I imagine it went good. Everyone I saw had a good time. So
we should give a shout out to Ken at P3 Shooting Specialties.
I just
did.
Yeah, well, you didn't mention P3 though. So go check out their website, P3 Shooting Specialties.
Cool. All right. With that, we're going to sign off. So join our Discord server. Check us out on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Player. Join the CCFR, and we will see you next week. Night.
Good night, Kelly.
So if you have any comments or questions for the show, please send an email to slamfireradio@gmail.com. Now go grab a gun and shoot something.
When the talking is over, it's time to get a gun.